Good morning, adventurers. My name is Ben, and welcome to a morning show where I sit around, drink some tea, and talk about D&D. Today, in D&D news, we are still sort of riding the end of that Fizban's Treasury of Dragons release news, and we probably will through the end of the week here. Just continuing that. They don't have a whole lot rolling out. They are running a Dragon Showdown, I guess, kind of bracket competition on their Instagram. They have asked for suggestions about the greatest dragons of all time so that they can do a bracket system for it and everybody can vote on it. Supposedly, probably to just live in that hype train for Fizbans. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. But that is really about it for news that we've got going on today. Moving forward to streams that we have on twitch.tv/DND. The Black Die Society is playing at 7 p.m. Eastern Time today. If you're keeping up with them, definitely go check that out. And then, of course, it is in fact Thursday, which means that we have Critical Role happening at 10 p.m. Eastern Time today on Twitch and YouTube. If you are watching that, then go check it out. I made a video last week about why I think you should give Campaign 3 a shot, but if that is, not your jam, then it's not your jam, and that's cool. But those are really the streams that we've got today. We don't have a whole lot else going on. So go ahead and check those out. And if you are looking for something else, just look up D&D on Twitch, on any sort of streaming platform, and you will probably find something that you can watch on there. Moving forward into T&D today. Today I have my mug stat block. It's just a mug. I got this actually at, conveniently, C2E2 last year in 2020. Yeah. Right before the pandemic hit. It was a really awesome experience to be able to go and do, but then obviously COVID happened, and now here we are. And inside of this mug, because I have to tell you about the tea part, I have a peach lemon loose leaf tea. It is the Kroger brand, private selection. I happened upon this because it was on sale one day, and it is actually really, really good. I like it a lot. It doesn't have a super strong taste. It is very, very fragrant, though, which is about half of it for you. So if you like that kind of stuff, go for it. It is just an herbal tea. Reminder, before I get into what we're actually talking about today, which I'm very excited about, all new patrons and the entire... Wow, hang on. Sorry, let me restart that. Reminder, all pledges from new patrons, as well as the entire payout at the end of the month of October, are being donated to the Trevor Project, which is, of course, a very, very wonderful organization, a crisis hotline for LGBTQ youth in the world. They do some really, really phenomenal work. This is all in honor of Spirit Day, which was on October 20th, I believe it was, the third Thursday of the month of October, which is an anti-bullying, anti-LGBTQ youth bullying day of awareness. So in honor of that, I am doing all of that. I am taking all of the money that I make from that, matching it, and then donating that sum total to the Trevor Project. I would love to break $100 in donations. We are so very close. We are honestly probably even just like one person away at this point. So if you are considering it, please hop down over to my Patreon. There's also a link to the Trevor Project if you would rather just give directly to them instead. Thank you so much for that in advance. Now, getting into what we are actually talking about today, I am very excited about this. This is one of the earlier third-party supplements that I ever picked up, because it is, in fact, of course, Third Party Thursday, and it's Halloween week, which means that we are talking about the Grim Hollow Campaign Guide. I am so pumped to talk to you guys about this one, because it has some awesome stuff inside of it, and actually, just 2 days ago now, I picked up, and by picked up, I mean I got delivered in the mail, kind of by surprise to me, the player's companion guide that goes with this, and I am so excited to be able to cover that at some point here as well, because it has expanded rules for some of the stuff in here, in addition to a ton of player subclasses. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about this one today. And so, if you are unfamiliar with Grim Hollow and Ghostfire Gaming at large, really, specifically in this one, they have created a dark fantasy world. It is horror-based fantasy. And the campaign guide here, I will say, is set in their specific world of Itharis, and a lot of stuff in here is focused on that, like lore-wise and stuff like that, and they do have some, like, Itharis-based adventures, Itharis-based lore in this book. However, that doesn't change the fact that there is plenty of really awesome stuff in here, in addition to you really being able to pull off of those and use them as inspiration for your world if that is what you're looking to do. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk real quick just about a couple of the things that are in here, because there is one major thing that I want to talk about in here that I have not seen done before, and I really love it. So the first thing we're going to just cover real quick are the player options, I guess, technically. Character options. They are different spells that they have access to, they being your players, or potentially they being just your villains, if you are looking more at that. Some different weapon options, advanced weapons, and some character feats. And then in that little package all wrapped up in this little character options thing is a section on curses, which is super cool and super fun. They talk specifically about curses that are associated with each one of the classes, and then they have this little table right here. If I could get the page to the right side, there we go. This guy right here, where they help you lay out the DC for the curses, because curses operate similarly to spells. However, there is a necessity of some kind of actual wrongdoing, transgression against the caster, in order for a curse to be the thing that actually takes effect. I know I talked at one point about curses in D&D, the way that they are written in 5th edition. This is a really cool sort of alternative method to it, because it does in fact use spellcasting in it specifically. The way that these are laid out in here also is awesome, because they each have a few different stages to them, in addition to a description of a triggering event and a culminating event. So let's just go through the one that's sitting in front of me here real quick. So the Curse of Conceited Obsession is a 6th level enchantment curse. Casting time is an hour, range is self. This spell curses a creature on the same plane of existence as you with an obsessive self-infatuation. The target must make a charisma saving throw against the spell's AC, which is modified by the curse strength table, which is that table I just showed. On a successful save, the target becomes aware that somebody has attempted to curse them. On a failed save, the target becomes cursed and is unaware of this. Upon the completion of this curse's triggering event, the target automatically advances to stage 1 of this curse. So, as I mentioned in the other curses video, the way that curses are kind of intended in core D&D are to be this thing that are in the moment, as you go, as you break into a tomb or as you kill someone or something. This is intended to be you have wronged someone in some capacity, they have gone back to where they are, and they have spent this time constructing this ritual to lay a curse upon you, lay a curse upon your bloodline, whatever it is. So, the triggering event for this curse specifically is the next time the curse target looks into a reflective mirror or surface, it spontaneously cracks. That is the triggering event, and you automatically jump to stage 1, which is the cursed creature is compelled to stop and admire themselves whenever they see their own reflection. Ooh, sorry, my eye's itchy. From there, stage 2, which you, the DM, or your DM, is the one that sort of helps move this curse along. They're the ones that determine the triggering events that move you from stage to stage. Cursed creature becomes obsessed with looking for and finding its own reflection wherever it goes. Additionally, the cursed creature has disadvantage on attack rolls. So you have, finally, a mechanical problem in there, in addition to just the roleplay consequence that is being presented to you. Stage 3, the cursed creature is driven to find, or if necessary, build a location where it can see its own reflection from many angles. The cursed creature is compelled to remain in this location and admire itself. Additionally, attack rolls against the creature gain advantage. So now you have disadvantage on your attack rolls, and attack rolls against you have advantage. In addition, again, to the compulsion associated with the roleplay. Culmination. Upon failing the final escalation check, the cursed creature twists into a deformed figure and becomes a weeping willow. If the creature is a player character, they become an NPC under the DM's control. So, if you have failed your checks between each one of these, because you do make checks to see if you are jumping between the stages that are, again, powered by the DM, you will ultimately become a weeping willow as a result of this curse, which is super, super cool. Yeah, we're just going to leave that one at that. The second thing I want to cover real quick about this, I know I said real quick for that first one, and we sort of dove into it, is the advanced backgrounds section that they present in here. They have a phenomenal background section that actually make backgrounds almost as compelling as a class progression. They make them definitely far more interesting than just like oh, well, you're an Outlander, and that's the end of it. You have a series of progressions inside of your background that you can take as you adventure and level up. There are 3 or 4 different ranks in each one of these backgrounds. And with each one of those ranks, you gain something, and you have to obviously move through the ranks in order to gain renown and be able to move up in this background that you've chosen, this career path that you've chosen, because they treat it more as a career path as opposed to where you have come from necessarily. So let's just say I'm open to burglar right now. So let's say you are a burglar. In this background, you get the things that you normally get from a background, some proficiencies, some random equipment, as well as a side feature, and this one is surveillance. And at rank 1, you also get some other little things. You get a holding, as well as a way to progress up in your background, because they treat it, again, as part of your leveling system. So you go from rank 1, which is Snatcher, up to rank 2, which is Burglar Specialist, not Burger Specialist. Your holding is then increased. It is expanded in a certain way, and you get a new, obviously, progression, sort of like chip, in order to keep moving up. And that keeps going all the way up. You go from a Snatcher to a Burglar Specialist to a Heist Master, all the way up to a Prince of Thieves. Ultimately, your holding is expanded upon into effectively your own mini domain for almost every single one of these, just by nature of how it goes. But it is a really cool sort of like side thing that you can track, and they've laid it out in such a way that it is actually probably pretty easy to homebrew your own stuff. In addition to this, if this is just a mechanic idea that you want to take into a normal game as opposed to a dark fantasy game. Now, the thing that I really, really am excited to talk about, we are going to talk about the transformations presented in this book. So, something that I think that D&D lacks so much is an adequate player transformation system, I guess. I don't really know. A set of rules around player transformations. And when I say transformations, I mean if they are cursed with a disease, or they're infected with something like lycanthropy, vampirism, that sort of thing, or they are blessed by something and they need, like an angel or a archfey or something like that, and they are going to be progressing through these different stages as they are gaining more and more of this power. Let's see. Let's go ahead and let's talk about I want to pick a good one for you. Let's talk about the Aberrant Horror transformation. Why not? So, you are presented at the end of each of the transformation sections with this lovely little progression table, which is phenomenal. As you can see, there are 4 different levels to each one of these transformations, and there are obviously some green boxes, which are good things, and red boxes, which are bad things. At the first level of transformation, pretty much across the board, you gain all of the boons in that associated level, as well as the flaw. As you move up in transformation level, you gain one of the boons and the flaw, but the boon is of your choice, or if there is one that the DM thinks is more appropriate, they will sort of assign you that one. But for the most part, you're just given you're given the option to pick what you want to have in there. We are going to go ahead and we are going to talk a little bit about this specifically, or about this Aberrant Horror one specifically, but first, getting into a transformative state, essentially. Usually this is not handed out to a low-level player. However, this could be kind of like an entire theme throughout your entire campaign, right? If this is something that people are looking for, if this is something people are trying to accomplish or trying to break as they go, it could be something that is put on them from the very start of the campaign, and they are working throughout the campaign to either get rid of or further, obviously going through the phases either against their will or through trial of their own. They have a couple of like smaller recommendations for how to progress their transformation. There's this little bitty table here. I would flip it around and show you, but it's literally 4 lines long, and it just says it just gives you recommendations for level that you should be when you're at certain stages of the transformation. Like transformation level 1 is levels 1 to 4, 2 is 5 to 10, 3 11 to 15, 4 or 11 to 16, 4 17 to 20. So kind of like standard adventuring, like ranking almost, I guess. So you're gonna be doing this over the course of a full length campaign, or you are thrown into it late, you will probably be boosted up to a certain point. So you have the option when you take you have an option a lot of time if you are going to undergo one of these transformations, because so many of them are in fact a willingness thing, but they can also obviously be forced upon a character in a couple of different ways. The Aberrant Horror one I could see going either way, but we are going to just run through real quick some of the stuff that you might pick up from it, just to give you an idea. So at transformation level 1, you get both of the boons associated with it, as well as the drawback. One of the boons is Aberrant Adaptations. You get to essentially pick a body part adaptation that you go through. That the ones they have listed here are either a chitinous shell or eldritch limbs. The limbs are sort of like unarmed weapons. They're extra sort of like limb bits that you get. And chitinous shell, obviously, you end up with a shell, like a hard outside shell, as a bonus action on your turn. That gives you a bonus to your AC, however it reduces your speed. Then you also, at this same level, get the Aberrant Form boon, which allows you to, or which gives you the creature type of aberration in addition to your normal creature type. Spells and abilities that affect aberrations or of a specific CR have no effect on you. The flaw for this first level is unstable mutations. Your body becomes malleable and struggles to maintain any one physical shape. Upon completing a long rest, you roll a d100 on the unstable form table and apply the effects of the result determined by your transformation level. These effects last until you complete another long rest, and you roll the same. If you roll the same result on the table more than once in a row, roll again until a new result is rolled. So there's a table in the back of the Aberrant. Where'd you go? There we go. That is the unstable mutation table. Based on where you are, it will, in terms of, there we go, transformation level, it will give you different things that you will transform into, or that your body does, essentially. Transformation level 2 is where you pick one of the boons that you're given, and then you take on the flaw. Your 3 boons to pick from are Efficient Killer, Otherworldly Tendrils, and Situational Evolution. And the flaw you gain is Hideous Appearance. The Situational Evolution allows you to, as an action, grow gills and flippers, or thin hairs to climb walls, or regenerating flesh, that sort of thing. You, as an action, you can do that, and you gain all of the following adaptations. You get a climbing speed equal to your walking speed, and you can climb vertical surfaces while leaving a hand free. Your swim speed becomes the same as your walking speed. You can breathe underwater. At the beginning of your turn, you regain hit points equal to your Constitution modifier if you have no more than half your hit points left. If you take fire or acid damage, then this adaptation has no effect at the beginning of your next turn. They last until you become unconscious, use a different one of your adaptations, or use a bonus action to end the adaptation. And for Hideous Appearance, we're just going to pick Situational Evolution for that one. Let's say you picked that one. Hideous Appearance, obviously, you look kind of gross. You can keep up a facade, but it requires concentration. Essentially, it requires concentration. If you are knocked unconscious, you are obviously drop whatever facade you have. If you enter hallowed ground, you drop whatever facade you have, or if you choose to reveal yourself. The GM can also call for like moments of high stress for that to be something that you roll for at that point. Moving on to Transformation Level 3, you can pick up Transformation Boon Wings, Transformation Boon Additional Tendrils, Transformation Boon Extended Hypertrophy, and you gain the flaw of Unstable Existence. We see our first one that has a prerequisite in here. The unstable, or the Additional Tendrils obviously requires Otherworldly Tendrils from Transformation Level 2. So in order to pick up Additional Tendrils, you have to have taken the Otherworldly Tendrils originally. Let's say here you want to pick up the Wings one. As a bonus action, you can manifest a huge pair of fleshy, distorted wings. You gain a fly speed equal to your current speed. They recede after 10 minutes. You can reabsorb them as a bonus action on your turn, and they reabsorb automatically if you're knocked unconscious. You can manifest your wings while wearing medium armor or light armor if it is made to accommodate them. You cannot manifest them while wearing heavy armor. Once you use the adaptation, you cannot use it again until you complete a short or long rest. And if you were to pick up, at this level, you also pick up Unstable Existence. The nature of magic is beginning to unravel your material form. Whenever you roll a natural 1, 2, or 3 on a saving throw against a spell or magical ability, wow, you reveal your Hideous Appearance. So that is, if you roll a saving throw against pretty much anything, you end up showing yourself if you roll a 1, 2, or 3 on the die. So you have a 15% chance at any given point of revealing yourself if you are subject to a spell's effects. And finally, at Transformation Level 4, we have Savage Predator, Master of the Deep, and Extremophilic Conditioning as your boon options, and your flaw is Entropic Abomination. We're going to say you pick up Savage Predator. Whenever you hit a target and score a natural 20, you deal an additional 66 damage. It's the same type as your weapon. In addition, each creature of your choice within 30 feet of you will succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of you for 1 minute. A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of its turn, ending the effect on itself on a success. That is every single natural 20 that you score a hit on. Anytime you roll a natural 20 on an attack, you can deal that additional damage and cause everybody around you to be afraid of you. Now, the flaw you pick up here, Entropic Abomination, is that whenever you fail a saving throw or magical ability, roll on the Unstable Mutation table. If the result is less than your current Unstable Mutation effect, replace it with the new result. So, you start rolling on this every single time you fail a saving throw. And you just keep going until you are at the lowest possible level that you can. And obviously, you are still subject to all of the other flaws that you have picked up at that point. Yeah, that's the end of what I wanted to say about that one. This book gives you Aberrant Horror, Fiend, Lich, Lycanthrope, Seraph, and Vampire as transformation options in it. And there are a bunch more laid out in the player's guide that, again, I will talk about at some point here, but this one is the one I wanted to start with because it was the first one, and it seemed like a good jumping off point. So, once again, this has been the Grim Hollow Campaign Guide. I really love this book. I really, really, really love the concept of these transformations, especially. I love the background setup that they have in here, and pairing it with the player's guide actually makes it feel like a really well-rounded and fleshed out setting, as well as giving you a bunch of different tools in it. This one has a section on Dungeon Master tools in the back about running dark fantasy, in addition to some of like the tropes that you can be following in there, if that is what you actually want to be doing with your dark fantasy type game. So definitely check that out. If you are looking for it. It is from Ghostfire Gaming. It is available on their website. They also have PDF copies available on their website as well. That is everything that I have to talk to you guys about today. Thank you so much for making me part of your morning routine, and thank you so much in particular to my patrons. You guys are the ones that make this whole show possible. I know I've gone a little bit long in this video, so thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I really do appreciate it, and I really appreciate you guys coming back morning after morning, because it makes me want to continue to do this show even more. So really, thank you guys. Thank you very much. That is it, I think. So check back in tomorrow for my my full review of Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. Spoilers, it's pretty good because I love dragons, if that hasn't been made painfully obvious at this point. But until then, I hope you guys have an awesome day. And until next time, keep on rolling.